Hey everybody, it's the 4th of July and I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you hear some booming in the background, it's because it's the 4th of July. I'm recording this about 9 o'clock when a lot of the activities will really start to go crazy. But before we go into too much about what's going on in the e-bike world, I just want to say that in this video we're going to be covering a couple of things that are really exciting and some that's actually kind of disappointing as well. First of all, there was over $10,000 worth of my bike stolen in about 2 months ago, and I've been trying to figure out a best way to go ahead and make a video about it. But I thought this is a great way to go ahead and bring out. That was a very negative thing, but there was a lot of positives that happened this morning when I woke up. The Ebike Products channel has passed the 10,000 subscriber mark, and I want to say thank you all so much for all your support and for honestly being the best audience ever. I mean, really, the comments that I get, unfortunately, I'm really sorry I don't respond as much as I possibly would love to. Uh, I try to get through some of them, but really the channel has been growing so much and I'm just slammed with trying to keep up with everything. We are also now launching our suspension post products. The Ebike products Zoom suspension posts are now on Amazon. And we have just put this up there. You can get some of these, the details, or actually go to Amazon directly using the link below at ebikesproduct.com/Amazon. I'm going to try to set up a page where it'll direct directly to the Ebike product store. We also have our water bottle holders also put up there, and also our cell phone holders. So our main products are up there. The posts are also in the silver, and they are still being checked in by Amazon. We're trying to beat Prime Day, but that is a little difficult because of all the inventory that they get during this time. We'll try to make sure that it's all up there by Prime Day. And because we've just hit this 10,000 mark and the channel has been growing so much, I also want to do a little bit about news that's happening in the e-bike industry. Well, I haven't done one of these in a while, and it's pretty awesome. First and foremost, for those of you who are in the kind of the tech industry or just been keeping up with news about artificial intelligence, there is a bike now that is now going to be offered in the market that has AI built in. And that's one of the real cool things that's been happening in the industry in itself. I also want to talk about pricing. So with pricing, we do have what I have seen as the prices beginning to stabilize. And one of the main reasons that that's been happening is because last year we had a really monstrous problem with shipping containers costing about 20,000 each for one container to come across from overseas to the US. And that really actually had an impact on pricing and demand. Supply and demand issues were just compounded with that. Now the supply chain issues are pretty much resolved, I would say. In fact, there's been an influx of a lot of bikes that have come in. So we are now seeing, instead of prices continuing to go up, in fact, the last CPI report, which is the Consumer Price Index report, which talks about inflation, we did see inflation month over month go down a little. Now, it's still really high compared to pre-COVID times, but nonetheless, it is still now at a point where, because container prices are now 10 times less, they're $2,000 about for a container versus the 20,000 that it used to cost to bring bikes over. It has been a positive impact on the pricing of bikes. The things that I have been seeing is that bike technology has just been getting better, but prices have not been going up against that. So you do have some bikes that have gone up in price, or some models that are a little more expensive than before, but the technology and the components and just the overall performance of these bikes have also improved along with that. So that's been an awesome development. A $1,200 bike that was about last year or even 2 years ago now is still about 1,200, maybe a little higher, 1,250, 1,300. But the components that you get on it are so much better. The technology as far as how the controllers are working, so you get more efficiency. The batteries are all bigger now. There is news on trends that the cargo bike market, that is the biggest increase right now. People are trying to replace their cars, or they just get more versatility over the cargo bike. You can carry more people or carry more stuff, and they're more powerful. So those are bikes that are now being dominant in the market, and the pricing has now been very stabilized overall. And if you do get a higher price bike, you get a better performing bike, longer range. Batteries are huge. So that's another thing that's actually been, if the pricing of the bike is bigger, take a look at how big and how much range you get compared to what you used to get. That's another really cool thing. That's, I guess, what we've all been wanting in the e-bikes. They're smoother riding, they're just easier shifting, and even on the acceleration of a lot of these bikes now, they have a lot more smoother acceleration. Power is still there. So talking about power and speed, let's go into what's called more regulation that we're also starting to see. The most recent news I saw is there was a 15-year-old boy that was actually killed in an accident riding his e-bike, and there was a big push by that city to make more regulation for e-bike riders. So I think what we're already starting to see and going to see even more moving forward, that little city here in Southern California is going to be requiring sort of like a semi-license for e-bike riders of the younger ages to make sure that they're going to be safer. They understand the rules and what they're doing. I was in that area riding around in the southern part of Southern California, where the beach cities, and I could not believe how dangerously some of the kids I saw riding, just shooting across 40-mile-an-hour street lanes, and they were going just hardly even looking before crossing over lanes of cars that were coming really fast. And there is a problem definitely with younger riders being not, I want to say reckless, just not cautious enough because they're just not experienced to know what can happen, or they really do need to be more educated along that. So we're going to be seeing even more regulations probably within bikes. I do not see bikes now that are actually exceeding a lot of the 28-mile-an-hour mark that used to be when some of them said 28, they could actually exceed it, go 29, 30. We're not seeing that as much anymore. The bike manufacturers are being more cautious to stay within what legally they're supposed to when they classify a bike. So we're seeing that type of restrictions and regulations be put in place. We're going to probably see that even more strict federally as time goes on. We're also seeing a lot more bike lanes and bike safety because of this awareness that's starting to happen. Not only are city and local governments saying, hey, let's go ahead and restrict, or not so much restrict, but make it so that riders are safer by being educated or getting even registration on the bike. So that's another thing that's actually going to potentially start to happen, is e-bikes may be required to get the same licenses as, say, mopeds or even motorcycles. I hope that also goes for scooters, because they should not be excluded from that when some of these scooters go way faster than any of the e-bikes I got. In fact, we have kids flying past us at 50 miles an hour, and I don't understand it. I mean, it is just too dangerous to have a kid on a scooter go by that fast on the bike trails, because even if there's not a car there, coming by that fast, no one's expecting it. If you happen to kind of maybe go out of your lane and they're coming behind you, don't see them, there could be a really tragic accident that's going to happen. So more e-bikes on the market, more e-bikes on the road. Unfortunately, we're also seeing more accidents that are happening. So I really want to encourage, as this channel begins to grow, please ride safely. The other thing that we're also seeing is more e-bike fires. And unfortunately, that is just going to be something that will probably be brought out more and more. We are hearing also news of more Tesla fires out there. But, I mean, when you think statistically speaking, how many more Teslas are on the road that cause these fires, the percentage of that versus the gas vehicles on the road and how many fires they have, from my understanding, is a lot lower than I guess we can expect. I mean, automobiles, whether they're gas or electric, have flammable parts, and if they get into accidents, some things can catch on fire. So we have these issues that are happening with e-bikes. There are so many more e-bikes now flooding the market. We are having issues with some of these actually catching on fire. And so, a couple of things just to be really safe on. Don't keep charging your battery days in and days out overnight without actually having it monitored. If your battery's topped off, take out the plug and just don't keep it sitting there. Also, please stay within using the right chargers for the right batteries. It's always recommended, if you're going to need a new battery replacement, to get the recommended battery from the manufacturer that you're getting it from, and also stick with the charger that you have. That will help to keep at least some of the fires away, because a lot of the problems that we're having are generic batteries coming over with generic chargers, people hooking them up wrong or incorrectly, and we don't know what kind of cells they have in there, if they're they're regulated or safe enough. So that's another thing I want to just say. Even though we have all of these things that are going on right now with such growth in the market, the fires news are going to be something that we're going to hear about. That's just the way it is. It's going to be a problem as long as people are trying to cut corners in the cost of these issues that we're starting to have. So the other thing I want to also mention is that with this 10,000 level that we've reached, that is a new, I guess that was just on the next level that we wanted to get to. This whole channel just began honestly because I wanted to get an e-bike, and I thought I was going to go ahead and buy such an expensive bike, which one was the Blackbird, the Bolton Blackbird, now called Area 13 Blackbird. I was saving up for that. While I was waiting for that bike to come in, I actually got an electric XP. I bought one of those, and I started with the channel because I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be buying these expensive bikes, if I make a business out of it, hopefully I can get some tax write-offs for it. So this channel was born out of the desire to just actually have a little bit of income to show I'm building a business on it, and it took off. And that's thanks to you guys, and I can't thank all of you enough for being a part of this community. And I want to apologize again for not being as active as I had hoped to be able to answer every question and everything. It's just gotten too big. I think in the coming year, now that we have moved forward past this big landmark of 10,000 subscribers, I'll probably be looking to hire an editor. That seems to be one of my biggest hindrances. On Saturdays, I do a lot of my recording. Sunday, I start to go ahead and put all the video together onto a computer and do some of the editing there. And it takes me all week through the next Saturday to edit all that footage. And then, of course, the whole cycle starts all over again. And that's been one of the reasons why I have been a little less active. Just everything that's been going on, this growth has been just crazy. And of course, we started deciding we're going to go ahead and put stuff on Amazon. Thank you all of you who supported the channel by buying the posts from us. If you're not familiar with these, we do have suspension seat posts to make your ride a lot more comfortable. These are Zoom brand, and the ones that we have on the site, they are 31.6 millimeter. They're guaranteed to fit the electric 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and electric light. Those are the 4 models, the electric XP models, that these will fit in. You just need to tighten the knob on the other side of the latch to bring it down a little closer, and we have not had any problems with these not fitting. One benefit to buying from the Ebike Products brand is that we also include, what you see here is the hex key and also a bonus keychain. Because one of the things that a lot of people do want to have is their e-bike key. And if you know, for any of those who have electric XPs, you have to keep the key in. You don't want all of your keys hanging. So this lobster claw allows you to take it on and off, so you don't have to have all of your keys hanging. And it's a great way to, when you're not riding, to have your key be able to be secured quickly onto your full keychain. I guess the other thing is we will be also doing potentially a lot less e-bike reviews. I'd like to focus on helping the community with e-bikes tips and tricks and other maybe maintenance things. We're going to be looking into that. So please comment below on something that you guys want to see. There are so many great brands out there that have actually sent us product. I wouldn't call them sponsors, but they would be supporters of the channel. All of the big bike brands that have sent every review that I've actually had from a lot of these companies. I want to thank all of the e-bike companies who have sent bikes for review. That has been such a blessing, and it's been so much fun. I also want to thank Flat Out. They've sent me, I don't know, a few gallons of their bottles for protecting our tires. Every bike that I put in there, that is another brand that has been very supportive of the channel. That to keep us from getting flat tires mostly, and also for sending the product. We have not had any thorn flats like that. I had a wire flat actually from Flat Out, just so you guys know. I want to put a video together on that. A wire hooked up and actually tore the side of my tire. So I did get a flat. I made a video of no more flats for me, but it was some kind of freak thing. It's almost like having a knife come to the side of my tire. There was nothing, even if I had any other liner, nothing would have stopped that flat from happening. But Flat Out, what was really interesting is I put some air back in the tire to lean the bike so that the Flat Out could get it, and the tire sealed up. And I went on a trip, and I just decided I'm going to let it sit for 4 days. When I come back, see what happens. The tire was still full of air. In fact, I decided, I'm going to go ahead and do some filming. We took that bike off-roading, went miles, like 5 to 8 miles to go have a meal, and then went off-roading with that bike. And after that, we went bouncing around on it on the off-road. That's the only time it actually tore the tube. The bouncing was so much, we actually tore the tube open again where the slice was. Again, got some air put back in there. I actually called my wife to bring me the pump because I thought, instead of seeing if we needed to go ahead and put the bike in the truck, she brought me a tire pump. I pumped it up, leaned the bike again. It sealed the tear even more. I was able to go another 2 miles back home riding the bike. So Flat Out can repair a hole even after it's already been there before, and you can re-pump up a tire. So that's a question I've been having a lot of, and those are questions I want to do more of, doing videos, answering the questions that can help the community out there. If you guys want to see very specific type of bike videos that I can help with, again, comment below, and then I'll go ahead and see if I can answer these questions or make these videos off of the comments that we have there, because those will be a lot of fun. I mean, I do have a lot of fun doing e-bike reviews, don't get me wrong, but I have more fun actually doing accessories what will make everybody's ride a little better. The ebikeproducts.com/shop website page has the products that I've thought would sell well and have done very well, and you know, I was able to brand on that. So I will be putting those, like I said, on Amazon. We already have some inventory there, and you know, occasionally I'll put some coupons up there to get them moving. That's another thing, is I don't know if I'll be bringing any more of these products in once they sell through on Amazon. The big push to get on Amazon was to actually get rid of all that inventory. After I got hit and somebody stole 7 of the bikes, my Blackbird and some other different brands, you know, that I had paid for or even just got as review bikes, they broke into my storage, took all 7 of my bikes, called the sheriff's department to make a report. Insurance company will not cover any of the bikes because they said it was used for business. I'm kind of in a debate with them about that, because my insurance agent is telling me it was actually not necessarily used for business. It was a gift after. And so that becomes my personal possession. I'm going to check on that anyway. So, hey, that's another thing I want to give a tip on. If you guys actually have e-bikes out there at home and you do use them for business, just keep in mind they may not be covered by your homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance. So that's a little tip there. You might want to look at your policy pretty closely and ask about that. Or if you do want that covered, make sure you're not using it for business, because a lot of policies, from my understanding, don't cover business use equipment. So that's been something really interesting to me. The sheriff's department says there's nothing there. In fact, they said they were supposed to get back to me. This has been over about 3 months now, I think, and I haven't heard a word from them. I don't expect that I'm going to get my bikes back. Crazy thing is, I don't keep my batteries in storage because storage is not temperature controlled. So I like them to keep in a very safe area. I keep it in my house. So none of the bikes that were stolen have batteries. Some of them just actually would be absolutely useless without those batteries. They don't have chargers, obviously. I keep the chargers at home as well. I only charge up a battery the day before I'm about to ride them. And that way I keep my batteries at my, you know, the 60% level when they're in storage and in a cool, nice, dry place, so I don't have to worry about them. So this guy took 7 of my bikes without any batteries and none of the chargers and none of the keys. I have all the keys as well. I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to cost them more to try to go ahead and get those batteries than try to sell it. Maybe he'll sell it for parts. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But after I got hit with that, I decided, you know what? I don't want to really keep a lot of inventory. Don't want to keep on doing. Actually, it's been too time consuming really to kind of do this right now. And I also found out I'm not a very good sourcer, which means to find product. I didn't source these well, so the pricing that I'm having on those, they may not go down very much more, even though I want to liquidate them, because I am actually almost practically breaking even on a lot of stuff because I bought them for too expensive. I thought there was enough margin to make a little bit of extra money on it. No, all the fees that comes in, the extra shipping costs, I had no idea would cost that much. I mean, I did buy them during the peak period because shipping containers are really expensive, so shipping costs are really expensive coming in. All of that per se does make it so that, you know, what you're seeing on there, when I really want to do a push, after I get rid of them, unless I can find them from a good source that can bring down the cost for me, I don't think I'm going to be bringing a lot more product for the e-bike line. There may be other accessories that I can maybe find that would be able to do it. You know, it's a live and learn thing. I thought maybe I'd be able to do well. Literally spent tens of thousands of dollars on inventory. So there's a lot that I have to go ahead and get through. But, you know, they're moving, and this is going to help really push it a lot faster. Again, these are 31.6 millimeter, and there's the silver ones and also the black ones on there. And if you're not sure if it's going to fit your bike, they are guaranteed for the electric XPs, only 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 on the light. And you have to make sure your post is a 31.6 millimeter that you're replacing. Otherwise, they may not fit. And that's the only problems I've ever had is somebody bought it. They did not have electric XP, and that was just the problem that we came across with those. Other than that, the cell phone holders were great. The bottle bags are selling like crazy. Those are the ones that are guaranteed to first run out. The cell phone holders, I might actually liquidate them, as you know, maybe in about a year or two as we get that inventory down, just to get the final out. Because like I said, I want to get rid of my storage facility. When they stole my bikes, they ripped the door off the storage, and they couldn't get past the lock because I had one of those circular locks that actually is like they put on soda machines. It was a really good lock. So thankfully they didn't take my lock, but they ripped the door off. And then I think that person must have actually had a storage unit within the unit, because there's no way they exited without the cameras catching them. But in the middle of the complex of my storage facility, there's no cameras. They probably put it in there. So my other tip is, if I had Apple AirTags on all of those bikes, put in where I thought I should be putting them, I probably would have gotten my bikes back, because I would have been able to locate them in there. Now, there's also these new tags that are even flatter that work with the Apple Find My app so they actually can be tracked with Apple phones. Now there's other trackers that are out there for even Android users, or Samsung phones. So I would recommend, in fact, I'm going to do a video on it, getting Apple AirTags or these other devices. In fact, we'll do a test on which one works better and showing you some places you can put them. I have found, now that this has happened, that a lot of times there are compartments where the controllers are put that have a little space that there's a gap you can put it. Now that not goes for all different bikes, but what's very cool is they are now making bottle holder mounts that actually go where the bottle holder bosses are, and they can hold the AirTag. So you can screw them on. There's so many different places you can hide them on a bike, and there's a lot of places you can't, just so you know. But just keep in mind, it will not prevent somebody potentially from stealing your bike, but you may be able to get it back. I mean, I honestly think if I had the sheriff there while I'm doing the report and I was able to track and tell them where it's at, that maybe something could have been done. In fact, right now, I probably could have been able to find those bikes. I've seen other YouTubers out there talk about how they track their bikes down, and because of the Apple AirTags. So they are effective, and it's something to think about as well. But hopefully none of you have these issues that come about. If you haven't seen my other video, I know it's over half of all bikes stolen are stolen at people's home residences. So don't think that you shouldn't lock your bikes up. You should always lock your bikes up, even in your own garages. Lock them up, keep them safe. I had mine in storage, all locked up. They still broke in and took it. And I supposedly live in like one of the 10th safest countries in the United States, and it still happened. But nonetheless, all that to say, 10,000 subscribers. What a milestone we finally hit. Thank you guys all again so much. Tell me how you want this channel to be improved. I appreciate every comment that has come in. I mean, you guys, like I said, even the constructive criticisms that I've gotten that were negative were actually really good comments. I mean, some of them were actually even super funny. I don't take anything personally, really. I mean, if you tell me I suck, so I suck. It's fine. I mean, I didn't start this because I wanted to become a big YouTuber. 10,000 subscribers, I guess, is apparently a really good milestone. It took 3 years to get to this point, but it's been a fun ride, and I'm gonna continue to do it as well. And I'm thinking, maybe I'll just start some other channels that are out there that could potentially bring me home. I never thought this channel was ever going to be something that would be as much of a great experience as it has been. And it has all been because of the community that you guys have put me in here. And I want to thank you guys again so much. Thank you all for those of you supporting. Thank you all for the positive comments that I've been getting. And just thank you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope to have another video sooner than later on 50,000 milestone. Who knows? Based on what you guys tell me, if I make those videos that you guys ask, I think that the growth of the channel will be better. I am not a professional in any way. I bought an e-bike because of COVID, and I was stuck at home, and that just turned into this. So everything that I learned from YouTube and trying it myself, and then just studying hard as much as I can when I wanted to figure something else out. In fact, I learned a lot from my community, so much. I mean, somebody actually made comments recently about how batteries, I'm reluctant to say make sure you buy UL rated batteries, because there's a comment, I haven't gone back to see what he responded yet, but he's saying UL didn't mean much, or he made a comment like that. So I'm going to look back and see more about that, because we want to be safe with our batteries. Do battery fireproof cases really work? Are they worth anything? The most important thing is just to make sure that you're monitoring safely and keeping your batteries, not overcharging them. And I mean, I can't repeat that more than enough. Things are getting better. Things are going to get faster. Hopefully getting more videos out when I find an editor. And if you guys know anybody who's in the community who's an editor that can help me with that, the channel really doesn't make hardly any money. So there's not like I can pay a lot for it. But if somebody is just enthusiastic and wants to help out with it, you can see some of my formats that are out there. All the editing has been done by me. And yes, it shows. I'm a novice. I learned how to edit videos via YouTube. Anyway, this has gone long enough. Thank you again. Happy 4th of July. For those of you who are not in the United States, also appreciate all of your support. I will see you guys in the next video.